Well, happy Wednesday. No, this is Thursday. That's right. The days are slipping away. I better be careful because tomorrow is Lois's birthday. Now, July the 3rd is her birthday. Don't ask me what year because I know better than to tell that. But she's 1 year younger than I am. In any case, we're in the book of Philippians and we're in chapter 2. We said the first chapter was to deal with the suffering that Paul went through. Second chapter is to deal with submission. And as we finish up chapter 2, I think it's really interesting that we can do a micro view of an interesting character. So let me read you the text beginning at verse 28, and then let's do a micro view of a very interesting character. Therefore, I have sent him all the more eagerly, so that when you see him again, you may rejoice, and I may be less concerned about you. Receive him then in the Lord with all joy, and hold men like him in high regard, because he came close to death for the work of Christ, risking his life to complete what was deficient in your service to me. Now, it'd be very easily to misunderstand what Paul was saying here, and that's why it's so important we read in full context. We're talking not here about Timothy, we're talking about Epaphroditus. And Epaphroditus was obviously originally sent from Philippi with a love offering to bring it to Paul, who was in prison in Rome. While there in Rome, was he not only in the danger of his association with Paul, where easily the Roman government could have killed him, but he obviously became sick. Interesting that Paul didn't heal him, which indicates that perhaps Paul was using his healing abilities sparingly, knowing that they were there more as a sign gift to bring people to belief rather than something to extend all Christians' lives. As sometimes I think we feel that God is obligated to take Christians and give them more healings and more extended life than other people. Bad misconception, I believe. But in any case, Epaphroditus was very obviously sent from Philippi and was one of them, took on the great danger, became sick in his service to Paul. Paul acknowledges how valuable he was to him, but also recognizes how important it would be for those that are worried about him back in Philippi to see him again, and the great value that there would be for him to be there in Philippi and extend personal eyewitness and eye-ear content of Paul's life, of all of the activities going on, and to know firsthand, not by rumor, but from Paul himself, all of the things that were going on in the ministry, and maybe refreshing some of those people back at Philippi's memories with his visit there. And so a great value in him going back, not only to see that he was now well again, but also to hear all of the reports about Paul's ministry and to refresh doctrine as well as things that had happened at Philippi. I think that it's very important to notice here that Paul says that they should receive him back with high regard, recognizing the dangers that he took to come to Paul and acknowledging him as a servant of Christ in a manner that was worthy of all servants of Christ. I think that's very noteworthy as well, that, my friends, we need to treat all of God's servants with respect and dignity and with joy and make them feel appreciated and to thank them for their service. Now, the last part is the part that could easily be misunderstood, and that is deficient in your service to me. This was not Paul complaining about how Philippi had not redeemed his time or given him the offerings that he needed or anything else. But he wants to be sure that they understand the great appreciation that he has for sending Epaphroditus, uh, that they would appreciate the fact that he was going to miss his service in Rome, but felt that it was much more important for him to return to Philippi. So this is something that Philippi had not done for Paul. This was more of a fact that there would now be a deficiency of service because he was gone back to Philippi. So I hope that you'll never think that the church at Philippi wasn't meeting Paul's needs because of this last phrase. It is not that in the full context of the letter. Obviously, Paul's going to miss this great man of service to him. And so we need to be sure that we don't misunderstand and take out of context what Paul has said in the entirety of chapter 2.